There's been a lot of things coming out recently about some of the fine dining chefs, specifically Noma, and just how they treat their people. And anyone that's kind of been following me for the past couple of years about my restaurant journey and the cafe that I had kind of knows that how you treat your people, and my philosophy has been since the opening cafe that you have to invest in your people and you have to take care of them as much as you can, because they're the ones that are going to make you money. They're the ones that are interact with guests. They're the ones that are going to make people happy. You can't be there to plate every dish, to clean every carrot. You have to invest in your people, and they have to care about you and your company, your restaurant, whatever it is, so that they can do a good job and make you money. And for a very long time, chefs and restaurants have acted on use people's passions and the fear of doing wrong or failure to exploit people, and whether it's for free labor or if it's for just to try to push them further. I think we're to the point where you have to find something to drive. Restaurants are busy, no matter what. It's stressful. There's always going to be times when it's going to be difficult to be in a restaurant, work in a restaurant. And that's just the nature of the beast. But I think we're coming to a point where we can actually motivate people in other ways. We're at a time when people want to love what they do, and they want to do a good job when they do it, and they just need the tools and the motivation and the people to feel like they're invested in them to do it. Before I had the cafe, I would say that I was a pretty high-strung chef, very passionate. Definitely had anger issues, and I've been known to throw plates and pans and things like that. I've tried never to direct that at my direct staff, but I definitely have. And especially since the cafe had a big learning curve with some of my staff who I wanted to see do well, and I wanted to succeed, and I knew that yelling at them was not going to make that happen. And I think that's part of one of the things that I've been fortunate enough to have is that I've had people around me that have stuck with me and been honest with me about things that I've done. If I've got frustrated through a pan, they pulled me aside and said, "Hey, this does not make us feel comfortable. We don't feel, comfortable with this." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize that it's doing that to you, and I'm sorry." And then I tried to actually change my behavior, and I've done that, with numerous things throughout my years at the cafe. All in all, I'm just really glad to see change starting to happen within the industry. Barbara Lynch here in Boston got called out for some of her terrible behavior a couple years ago, and I worked for her for $100 a day at a fine dining restaurant where we were literally paid $100 for 16 hours a day. So it was called shift pay. I've worked for free in restaurants in New York. Or abroad. Like, it's been part of the industry, and I think it needs to change. Like, if you're going to make money off of a restaurant, yes, you can add value by teaching, but you still have to pay people a living wage. You have to pay people at least that help you make money yourself. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be a business. I'm really glad that things are starting to change in the industry, hopefully for the better, and that's going to help everyone in the industry be more successful overall. It's a needed change. I think finding that really motivator for most restaurants or chefs is going to be tough, because when you don't have that overall field, you have to find something that's motivating for individual people. Every single person is different, and we'll have a different motivator, whether it's compensation. Some people just want to be paid more, which is fair. Like, if they're more comfortable getting paid more, and that's going to make them happy and confident and take care of their family, great. Some people want to learn about different cuisines and how to cook, and that's what because they want to be a chef or own a restaurant one day, and that's you can add that as part of their value. But they still have to be able to survive, and have a day off where they can go out and have a drink or dinner because they have some they're not behind on bills. For most of my cooking career, on my days off, I couldn't really do much. I couldn't travel. I couldn't, explore because I had no money. Working in restaurants aren't paid really much. A lot of times it's spent on, drinking after the shift or basic groceries or just like laundry. And so it kind of really inhibits the growth and the comfortability of life. Just like being able to survive in a city. When you really just want to cook good food. I'll say that just focus on cooking good food, making people happy, and making good restaurants. Like this, stop this fear mongering. Just like cook delicious food, cook some inspiring food. Find out what is interesting. Take it to the next level, and build your team around you. You're only gonna be as good as the people that are directly below you, and if you're not gonna keep and succeed and kind of help grow these people, like you're not gonna be successful in the long term. So invest in your people.